Hello everyone, and welcome back to another hardcore Let's Play episode. I hope you guys enjoyed last episode where I built the axolotl pond and bee farm that you see behind me. It was an absolute blast to build and I really love the way that it looks next to my home. I've been really loving seeing my village grow over time. The way I've been creating builds, connecting them together and really expanding my village throughout the episodes. But in today's episode, I want to do something just a little bit different. Out here on the outskirts of town, I have my Gothic style gunpowder farm tower. And I really haven't done anything else in this area. I've done no terraforming or decorating of any kind, and it kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. Obviously, eventually I'm going to be expanding my village through this area, and it's going to be looking a lot nicer, but I think for today's episode, I want to put a little bit of work into decorating this area and having it look a little bit more finished. And I'm going to start by creating a build right on this section of the mountainside here. I think this area is going to be a really good place for a build, up on the mountainside here overlooking the town. I'm going to keep the same Gothic style of the gunpowder farm for this build, and I'm going to terraform this side of the mountain and have a pathway leading up the hillside connecting this build to the gunpowder farm. I just think it's going to be a really good way for me to start building this area up. The first thing I'm going to do is just peel a couple of layers off the hilltop here so I have a little bit more surface area to build. Okay, that's looking much better and it's giving me a much larger space to be able to start planning things out. One thing I need to do before I start building is torch this entire area up, so I don't need to worry about mobs or having to sleep the nights away. After that, I can get in and start mapping out the size and shape of this build. Alright, I think I've got a shape that I can work with here. Kind of going for this three-pronged section at the front with a rounded tower at the back. It's definitely a bit of a weird shape, but I think I can work with it. Looking from the backside here, I think the proportions are pretty good. Obviously the gunpowder farm is a lot bigger, but I think the size of this build is going to suit this section of the hillside well. So as I said before, I think this build is going to have the same Gothic style and colour palette as the gunpowder farm here, especially with the deep slate and the blackstone. I'm not sure about the mud yet, but we're going to have to see how we go. And as for the purpose of this build is going to be a cartography centre. An area where I can have all my cartographers for endless item frames, banners and maps. But anyways, let's get started on some resource gathering. Hold on a minute, what do we have here? This is a trail ruins. This is exciting, I haven't found one of these in my world yet. I've actually been here a bunch of times too and never spotted it. It's a great location. Home is only around 700 blocks in that direction, so it's a great find. Well, there is definitely going to be an episode in the future of me digging out this trail ruins, especially for the armor trims that I still need for my collection. But anyways, let's get back to work. Okay, I think I have all the resources that I'm going to need for the bulk of this build. I haven't really done any planning, but I have some good ideas on the way that I want to decorate it. Let's get started by filling in the walls and getting a roof shape going. Really loving the way that this build is shaping up already. I went with the standard A-frame shape for the roof because the height is not a concern with the tower at the back. I went with the black stone on the roof and the deep slate on the walls with some unstripped spruce, and I'm really loving the colour palette. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the tower yet. It's definitely going to go higher, but I'm just going to leave it like that at the moment until I can figure out exactly what I want to do. I think for now I'm just going to put a pause on the tower and focus on some exterior decoration on the lower section of this build, just so I can make sure the proportions are good and I can come up with a good design. I definitely want to do something with the deep slate brick as well, just to texture it and give it a little bit more visual interest. Okay, so far so good. I really like how the design is coming along. I really love the window design I've gone with on the sides. I think it captures the vibe really well. I think for the texturing of the deep slate brick, I'm just going to use the cracked variant instead of using a whole new block, because I'm already using the tile on the bottom as kind of like a wainscot, so I don't think it's going to be good to add it as a random mixture. So I'm going to add this cracked brick on all the walls and see what we think. Yep, that is much better. I'm really loving what the cracked brick is bringing to the walls, just breaking up that texture and making things look a lot nicer. I think it's now time for me to figure out what I'm going to do with the top of this tower so I can continue on with the exterior detailing. that marks the exterior as complete. I really love the way that the tower came out with the flag on top, and I really like what I've done with the roof. I wanted to find a way to texture the roof without just using another random block pattern. So I decided to use some black wool to create a cracking effect in the block work. Now the roof is very small, but I still think that you get the effect that I was after. You can see from this angle a little bit better the cracking through the block work effect that I'm talking about. And considering how small the roofs are, I think I've managed to capture the effect quite well. And honestly, I'm really happy with the entire exterior of this build. With the exterior now done, I need to get to work on this interior so I can get the cartographers into their forever homes. So, let's get to work. Alrighty, the interior is now complete, and I really love how I've managed to keep the dark gothic theme going on the interior as well. I really love the pattern in the floor. It looks really nice without being too overwhelming, and I've used a lot of black candles in this space to control the light level and really keep that gothic vibe. The same as with the cleric trading hall, I'm using honey blocks to keep the villagers in place, so I don't need to have anything above their heads. Really love this first floor. If we go up the stairs, we actually have a landing to the ceiling space. And here I have a few cubbies to hold a few more clerics. I decided to keep the ends of the roofs open, which is not something I normally do, but I wanted to be able to look inside and see these guys up here, and I really like the effect that gives. I think this area looks great. Continuing up the steps, we go all the way to the tippy top, and I don't have anything in here at the moment, it's just a lookout space. I will probably eventually do something with this space in the future, but at the moment, I just love how you can look out the windows. It's a really good vantage point to look out over your builds, especially on this other side here where I can get up here and look out over the town. Now I need to get some clerics ready to move into this space. I have enough space for 8 clerics on this ground floor and enough space for another 3 clerics on the first floor. I need to get the clerics locked into their trades and then get them zombified and cured before they're ready for transportation. So let's get on to that. Okay, I have 11 clerics locked into their trades, so now it's time to unleash Barry, our faithful zombie servant, onto these guys. Let's go, Barry. And now we wait. Alright, I'm pretty sure all these guys should be zombified by now, so let's lock Barry away again and get to work on getting them cured. Thank you for your service, Barry. And we wait again. Alright, with these guys all cured up, let's get to work on building a rail system to transport them to their new home. Here comes the first one now. Clerics are now locked into their new homes. I still need to get them all traded up to master level, but at least they're all locked into their trades and I can trade them up to master level over time. With the building now fully completed, I want to turn my attention to terraforming. Now, the plan is to eventually terraform this entire cliff face here, but for this episode, I'm only going to focus on the area around these two builds. Now, I need to figure out how I'm going to decorate this hillside, because I'm not just going to leave it as dirt and grass. So I'm going to put a little bit of work into planning out exactly what I want to do, and I'll be back with you guys in just a little bit. Well, this is quite a big change from what I originally had planned. I was originally going to go with a cobblestone to moss mix, similar to what I have at the bamboo farm, just inverted where the moss is on top. But I found that the green just was not suiting the gothic style, so this is what I came up with instead. Here I've gone with a cobblestone and tuff mix that blends into the pale moss at the top of the hill, with obviously a lot of other blocks added in for texturing. And I've used the pale moss carpet, the pale oak leaves, and glow lichen as overgrowth. And I'm really liking how this is looking, and I think this is what I'm going to go with. So I'm going to take this and run it all the way across the front of the hillside here and finish around this area and take it all the way around to the other side of the hill. And what a difference this makes. This is much more in line with the vision that I had for this area. I'm loving the way that this has turned out. I'm loving the amount of detail in the hillside here too. I do want to add in some colour by using grass and flowers and trees just to break up that grayscale a little bit. And that will help me to blend it in with the rest of the village, which is very lush and green and colourful. And when the village does eventually expand over to the base of the hillside, I will put a lot more work into blending the two different areas in. Now I'm going to get started on a pathway connecting the cartography centre up with the gunpowder farm on top of the hill. And after the pathways are done, I can get to work on putting some trees and flowers and other decorations in place around the build to make it look a lot more completed. I really like the way the pathways look heading down towards the cartography centre. And I love the pops of colour from the grass, the spruce trees and the flowers. I used specifically white toned flowers just to avoid putting too much colour in, and I love the whole atmosphere and vibe of the whole place. The use of the foliage really helps to make the build look a lot more complete, and I really love the way that it all looks. I love the pops of colour that just breaks up the grey textures a little bit. I really can't wait to continue expanding this Gothic region further in the future. I'm very excited about that. Unfortunately, that is all I have time for in this episode. I really hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I had an absolute blast building this and taking myself out of my comfort zone a little bit and building something that is a little bit new and exciting to me. If you haven't already, please like the video, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment if you can. It really does help me out a lot. But until next time, bye for now.